Am I the a-hole for pulling the plug on my little sister's wedding after she uninvited me because my job was beneath their brand? Throwaway because my sister and her future in-laws live on here. Ages: me, 32M, sister Ava, 26F, my fiancé Maya, 30F, groom Evan, 28M, his mother Diane, 50s, his father Greg, 50s. We're in the U.S. Context: I'm a municipal sanitation supervisor. Blue collar, union, decent pay, benefits, early mornings. It's not glamorous, but it's clean money, and I'm proud of the team I manage. I was the first one in my family to step into a stable job with a pension. My dad passed when we were kids, and I helped raise Ava. I bought her first car, used Corolla, paid for her tiered braces when insurance denied the upcharge, and made sure she had a quiet dorm when she got into college. We're close, or I thought we were. Ava met Evan in college. He's a software sales guy with a very curated life. Think beige apartments, quartz countertops, rented luxury SUVs, and a family that calls networking the sport of kings. His mom, Diane, sits on the board of a philanthropy circle that throws galas and posts photo dumps of women air-kissing around silent auction baskets. Their whole thing is image. It's a lot of words like elevate, curate, and brand. I know my lane. I don't need anyone's approval. I just want my sister happy. A year ago, Ava called me crying with a ring on her finger. I cheered, I cried with her, and I told her what I had told her since she was 19. When you get married, I'll cover you. That meant ceremony venue, decent photographer, a live band, within reason, and the dress, because our mom didn't get to do that with her, and I wanted to. I set aside $30,000 over the last 5 years. Overtime, weekend snow routes, giving up a jet ski I'd been eyeing. I sent Ava a spreadsheet that would make a CPA proud: line items, deposits, due dates, vendor contacts. I didn't wave it around. I told her it was a gift, not a loan, and the only strings were that Maya and I wanted to attend, and we'd appreciate a couple of basic courtesies, like not making the day an influencer stunt. Ava was grateful. She showed me the venue she liked, an old brick greenhouse with string lights and a garden ceremony. It was pricey but not ridiculous. I called, booked the date she wanted, June, and paid the deposit, $6,000. Then it started. Small things at first. Ava hinted that my work uniform might be off vibe. I said I own actual suits. She asked if I could avoid talking about garbage routes at dinner with Evan's family because it grosses them out. I laughed it off. Okay, no trash talk over appetizers. Maya squeezed my hand under the table. Then Diane got in the mix. She offered to connect us with her preferred vendor list. Our florist understands luxury. Your original one is a bit rustic. Her preferred florist charged double for the same peonies, and ranunculus. I told Ava I'd cover what I promised, but if she wanted the signature garden install, she'd have to kick in or scale elsewhere. Let's keep it grounded, I said. Ava agreed. Then Diane started sending me invoices directly CCing Ava and Evan, with lines like, "Thank you so much for your generosity. It's so important to invest in special moments properly." I paid the band deposit, photographer, and the second venue installment. I bought the dress with Ava, $2,400 and worth every penny for the way she kept twirling in the mirror. We had coffee afterward, and she cried and told me I was her best friend. A week later, I found out I wasn't invited to the tasting. Greg's dentist is a Michelin investor. Evan said, and then laughed like it was a joke. Limited seats. I shrugged. Whatever. But it stung. 2 months before the wedding, Ava invited Maya and me to a family brand alignment brunch. I nearly didn't go because the name made my eye twitch, but Maya said, "If we don't go, they'll pretend you were never told." She's good like that. We show up to Diane's house. White couches, seashell art, a bowl of lemons that had been arranged like a Renaissance still life. Diane had printed packets. The first page was a mood board of champagne towers, beige bridesmaids, and subtle old money. The second page was guest visibility tiers. Tier 1, family of the couple, VIP donors, officiant, full access, visible seating. Tier 2, friends/extended family, general visibility. Yes, that's the phrase. Tier 3, necessary but non-optimal relationships. Examples included family members whose professions clash with the event's brand. There it was in writing. Sanitation was literally typed out in parentheses next to construction, nightlife, politics. I waited for someone to laugh. No one did. Diane spoke like she was assigning chairs on the Titanic. We have a vision. We want the narrative to be aspirational. My hands shook, but I didn't throw the lemons. I looked at Ava. She avoided my eyes. It's only for the ceremony photos, not the whole day, she said. And Aunt Carla's Facebook is wild. What tier am I? I asked. Silence. Diane sipped something green. We're leaning 2, she said. Or 3, for the ceremony. Not personal. Optics. Ava said, it's just for the official photos. We can take a bunch together at the reception. Maya put her hand on my knee. I swallowed it. The room looked so sterile. I said, I'll think about it. I didn't sleep that night. I had paid nearly $20,000 by then. 1 month out, I got an email. Not a call. Not a text. An email titled Update on Ceremony Seating. Hey, after careful thought and input from the planner and Evan's parents, we're making the ceremony more intimate. We've decided it'll be immediate family and the officiant. Because the photographer is really strict, we're moving some people to reception only. It doesn't change how much we love you. We hope you understand. You'll still have a special toast moment at the reception. Diane has thoughts. Love, A. I read it 3 times waiting for my name in the immediate family list. It wasn't there. My little sister, who I'd raised like a second parent, uninvited me from the ceremony of the wedding I was paying for because my job clashed with their brand. Maya took my phone out of my hand because I couldn't see through the heat behind my eyes. I tried to call Ava. Voicemail. I texted, this is a mistake? She wrote back, I'll call you later, Evan's on a pitch. Please don't make this a thing. It was already a thing. I didn't go nuclear. Not yet. I gave it a day. Then I wrote an email to Ava, Evan, and Diane. Subject, quick clarity. Hi, thanks for the update. I need to be explicitly clear. If I'm not invited to your ceremony, I won't be paying for it. I love you, but I refuse to invest in something I'm not welcome to attend. If you want to revisit this, call me by Friday. If not, I'll begin unwinding the payments I've made that are refundable and will transfer vendor contracts to your name for anything that isn't. Love, your brother. Diane replied in 8 minutes. We are deeply disappointed by this sudden ultimatum. Generosity doesn't come with conditions. It's deeply gauche to threaten to withdraw a gift this close to the date. We'll move forward without your involvement. Kindly forward vendor information so we can ensure continuity for the sake of our guests' experience. Ava wrote, please don't do this. You're making it about you. I didn't respond. I forwarded the vendor contacts. Then I called each vendor and asked calm, boring questions. What's refundable? What happens if cardholder authorization is rescinded? If the payer changes, does the date stay? Can I transfer the booking to another event with a charitable discount if the original client releases the date? You'd be shocked how reasonable people are when you speak to them like a grown-up and not a reality show producer. Turns out, I could not yank everything. Nor did I want to. I wasn't trying to salt the earth. But I could do something else. I could stop being the quiet ATM and start being the adult who signs things. I called Ava one more time. This is your last chance, I said. Tell me you want me there, and it's solved. She whispered, I want you there, but Diane says optics. I hung up. I cried. Maya held me like I was the one getting left at the altar. Then I did something petty and boring that felt like rinsing a wound with salt water. I paid off the last venue installment in full, on my card, and I changed the contract's primary contact to myself. The venue's manager had no problem with this because I was the one who'd paid every penny since day one. I also paid the band's remaining balance. They were with me. The bassist's dad is a mechanic and had opinions. The photographer? Paid. Why would I do that if I wasn't going to the ceremony? Because I had learned something else from the vendor calls. If the primary payer cancels within 30 days but replaces the event with another, the venue keeps the money and the date for the new event. The new event did not technically have to be the same guest list. Fun with policy. I still gave Ava time. She used it to send me a Google sheet where I was listed as reception guest, special toast provider. I closed my laptop and went to work. 2 weeks out, I got a DM. It was from a girl I went to high school with, Jules, who now works at a local PR agency. She had seen Diane's Instagram, a series of stories about elevating young women and lifting our city's culture. Cute. Jules also sent me a screenshot from an agency Slack. bless her, where Diane's charity circle was selling sponsorship tiers for Ava and Evan's wedding. Not the gala, the wedding. Gold tier sponsors would have their company name tastefully integrated into the signature cocktail wall. Diamond tier sponsors got VIP seating near family for maximum visibility and a brand walkthrough opportunity with the photographer. They were turning my sister's wedding into a branded content shoot. The sponsor deck had the venue's name and my deposit schedule watermarked on it. I felt my neck go hot. Diane had been pitching the wedding as a social event to sell silent auction packages in the fall. The plan, as far as I could tell, was to stack the ceremony with donors, hence VIP donors, on the mood board, and relegate family who didn't fit the narrative. It wasn't just tacky. It was using my money to buy her FaceTime. I called the venue again. Is it true you're allowing a brand walkthrough? They had no idea what I was talking about. The manager asked me to send the deck. I did. 30 minutes later, the venue's owner called me herself. We do not allow commercial sponsorships in private events, she said. That violates our contracts and city ordinances. If they intend to do that, we'll cancel. I asked her not to cancel yet. Give me until Monday, I said, and watch their social. They'll either walk it back or I will take the hit. She agreed. That weekend, Diane posted a grid photo of herself holding up 2 dresses with the caption, "Decisions, decisions. Do we go youthful chic or timeless for our front row ceremony seats?" The comments were a nightmare. The phrase "our" and "front row" said the quiet part out loud. Then came a story of a printed seating chart mock-up, a big acrylic board with calligraphy. If you zoomed in, and we all zoomed in, Dr. and Mrs. Gregory were front row left. VIP sponsors were front row right. And in the second block, family friends. I screenshotted until my phone burned my hand. I looked for my name. It wasn't there at all. Maya said, "I think it's time." Monday morning, I emailed everyone. Subject, contract adjustments. Effective immediately, I'm revoking my authorization as payer and primary contact for all wedding vendors and the venue. I'm also canceling the June 14th event at Greenhouse. Please see attached, a new contract for a community celebration on the same date with the same payments. This will be a free neighborhood party with the live band and photographer benefiting the Sanitation Workers Scholarship Fund, established last year after we lost Frank. The venue has confirmed they do not permit commercial sponsorships, nor a brand walkthrough, and that the deck circulated violates policy. Ava, I said my only condition was being welcome at your ceremony. I was uninvited. I'm sorry it's come to this. You are free to book another date if you wish. Love, your brother. I didn't post it anywhere. I'm not a monster. I sent it to them and CC'd the vendors so there was no misunderstanding. Evan called me. You can't do this. I already did, I said. Also, legal told the venue to cancel if they see sponsor signage. You can still have your wedding, different date, different place. I'm not stopping you. I'm just not paying for it, and I'm not letting Diane sell my money to her friends. He said I was ruining Ava's life. I said Diane could cut a check from one of her donor tiers and get them a ballroom on Rodeo Drive if it mattered that much. Ava didn't call. She texted, "I can't talk to you," followed by, "What happened to you?" Maya took my keys and drove me to work because my hands were shaking again. Diane went nuclear on Instagram in the genteel way, a black and white quote about boundaries and when poor spirits resent your shine. Her friend sent hearts. Jules texted me, "Want me to leak the deck?" I said no. I didn't want to ruin Ava's life. I wanted to stop being erased from it. But the deck leaked anyway. Another sponsor passed it to a reporter who covers local charity chic. The venue, trying to get ahead of it, posted a statement. "We do not permit commercial sponsorships at private ceremonies." No one named names. People aren't dumb. Ava called me, sobbing. "Please put it back." I said, "Are you inviting me to your ceremony?" She said, "I will if you put it back." I said, "That's not how invites work." She hung up. 3 days later, I got a handwritten note left at my door in Ava's messy script. "I'm scared to call you because I'm ashamed. I thought if I made everything look perfect, I could step into a life where no one remembered we used to count coins at Kroger. Diane made me feel like I could keep all the pieces if I just hid the ones that didn't fit. That's you. That's awful. I'm sorry. If it matters, I want you there. Ceremony, front row. If you still want me to have the greenhouse, I'll invite you to every minute. If not, I understand." I sat on the porch and cried like I was emptying an ocean. I didn't move the event back. That ship had sailed. But I offered something else. We'll pay for a courthouse ceremony now, something small and yours, and a backyard reception with the people who actually love you. And if you invite me, I'll come. In a suit. With Maya. And we'll eat tacos and dance. If you want a bigger wedding later, we can talk, but not with sponsor walls and mood boards for human beings. Ava said yes. Evan said yes, because he was out of choices and because he loves my sister beneath the court show. June 14th, the date that used to be a wedding, became a block party at the greenhouse. The venue owners, who turned out to be salt of the earth, let us open the doors to the street. The live band played Motown. Kids ran between the tables. Neighbors ate until the chafers were empty. We set up a slideshow of the sanitation crew through the years, gritty photos that would be off-brand anywhere Diane breathes. The scholarship fund jars overflowed. The photographer took pictures of what actually matters. Old hands holding paper plates, teenagers laughing, the sax player closing his eyes. At twilight, the string lights made everyone beautiful. Ava and Evan came. They stood in the back, holding hands like it was all new. Ava had stripped off her gel manicure and wore a sundress. She hugged me and didn't let go. "I'm sorry," she said into my jacket. "I was wrong." Maya said quietly, "You're here. That's what matters." Diane did not come. She posted a story of a restaurant that probably cost more than my car. 2 weeks later, Ava and Evan got married at the courthouse with just us, our mom's sister, and his brother. No sponsors. No tears. No acrylic seating chart. The judge had a voice like a pastor. We had tacos afterward, messy ones, with limes in a chipped bowl. Maya caught the world's saddest bouquet and laughed until she cried. Revenge implies scorched earth. I didn't want that. I wanted boundaries and a life where my sister didn't disappear me to impress people who say brand at brunch. But Fallout has a way of writing its own script. Diane's charity circle had to issue a statement. A clarification. Then 3 companies pulled their gala sponsorships because their marketing VP does not want their logo next to a scandal involving a wedding seating chart and the words VIP donors. I didn't call anyone. I didn't have to. People have eyes. Greg asked me to coffee. He looked smaller without the show. "I'm sorry," he said. "We let it get away from us." He slid an envelope across the table. "I know you don't want anything from us. This is a donation to your scholarship fund." I took it and donated it in Diane's maiden name. We learned later that the philanthropy circle wasn't a formal 501c3, but an unregistered social club that funneled money to real charities. That part was legal-ish, but the sponsorship deck with integration opportunities at a private ceremony frightened some real organizations into examining their governance. Turns out, some of these silent auction packages had a habit of going to Diane's friends for pennies and then being redonated a year later for write-offs. Nothing that will land her in prison, just enough public stink that her chair title became member. Ava started seeing a therapist and told me she was trying to understand why she felt she had to hide me to have the life she wanted. She cried a lot. I cried too. We went bowling on Wednesdays with Maya and Evan and talked about budget and boundaries and how to say no to stupid. Evan switched jobs to a smaller company that doesn't have a brand beyond sell good stuff and be decent. The best part? On the Saturday after their courthouse wedding, Ava and Evan came to one of our sanitation crew barbecues. They brought cupcakes and a folding table. The guys razzied Evan for his shoes. He laughed. He took off his shoes and ate ribs barefoot with me and told the story of how he tried to assemble a disposable cutlery wall, once for a client, and the tape peeled off the paint. The crew howled. Diane would have spontaneously combusted. It was heaven. I don't know if I did the right thing. I know it felt like the only honest thing after being told I was a third-tier relationship in a life I helped build. I know love without self-respect curdles into something ugly. I know that a wedding should look like the 2 people getting married, not like their mother's LinkedIn banner. TLDR, I, 32M, paid for my sister's, 26F, wedding. Her future MIL tried to turn it into a sponsored social event and pushed to uninvite me from the ceremony because my job, sanitation supervisor, was beneath their brand. I canceled the greenhouse wedding I'd paid for and turned the date into a community party for our crew's scholarship fund. Sister apologized. We did a courthouse ceremony and tacos. MIL lost some philanthropy clout. We got our family back. A bunch of you asked if I stole the wedding. No, I paid for it. The venue contract had a clause allowing the payer to transfer the date to another event, and I kept the same non-commercial terms the venue allows for community events. No sponsors, no logos. Band and photographer were paid in full by me from the start. Neither had a problem playing for a neighborhood party. I didn't profit. The leftover catering deposit was repurposed at cost to feed the block party. We ate it all. No vendors were stiffed. Ava and Evan didn't lose money, I promised. They lost a venue date that I controlled because I'd paid for it and was being uninvited. Also, the scholarship fund is 100% legit. It's managed by the union's charitable arm that sends kids of sanitation workers to trade school or community college. This year we'll have 2 extra scholarships, and they'll be named after our dad and Frank. Ava and I cried through the whole naming ceremony when the union rep announced it. I didn't plan this, but consequences are sticky. After the venue posted their policy, a local reporter did a column about the trend of sponsored private events pretending to be charitable galas. The article did not name Diane. Everyone named her in the comments anyway. 3 sponsors pulled their false support from her circle and redirected to actual registered charities. Diane texted Ava, "Your brother is vindictive." Ava wrote back, "He's my brother." Sometimes growth is just 3 words. Diane called me finally. She said, "You embarrassed me." I said, "You erased me." Silence. Then she said, "We should have had you in Tier 1. I laughed. "There are no tiers in my family," I said. "There's lunch. Want to join us sometime?" She said she'd think about it. That means no, but I thought it anyway. We did a backyard party at our mom's house, the house we grew up in, where the fence leans and the neighbor's dog barks at dandelions. We strung lights and borrowed tables and commandeered every cooler in the neighborhood. Maya wore a linen dress. Ava wore white sneakers. Evan grilled. We played the band's demo through a Bluetooth speaker. It was perfect and anti-glamour. Halfway through, a car pulled up and out stepped Diane, in jeans. No pearls, no blazer. She carried a bakery box and a bouquet that looked like the grocery store kind, which, somehow, mattered more than peonies ever could. She said, "May I come in?" We said yes. She handed Ava the box. "It's lemon bars. I made them," she said, like a confession. "I don't know how to do this. I've never been good at being wrong." She asked if she could say a few words. I braced for a speech about elevating. Instead, she said this. I wrote it down later because it shook me. When I was 26, I married into a family who made me feel like if I didn't hold my pinky at the right angle, they'd put me in the kitchen. I promised myself I would never feel small again. Somewhere I made everyone else small instead. I'm sorry. I hurt my son. I hurt Ava. I hurt you, brother. I hurt your community by using your celebration as a staircase. I am sorry. No brand. No optics. Just the sound of a woman telling the truth for once. People clapped. Someone yelled, "Eat a rib, Diane." She did. She got sauce on her cuff and laughed. I almost passed out. Later, she found me by the hose and said, I took my name off the chair list. She had resigned her chair, position, and stayed a member. I need to think about what I'm for when there's no camera, she said. Then, like we were doing a drug deal, she said, I have money. I'd like to fund 5 scholarships with no press, no naming, nothing. Is that okay? I told her yes on one condition. She had to come sit in the middle at the next scholarship ceremony, not at the front. She agreed. The twist inside the twist? Greg told me later that the philanthropy circle had other issues. One member had been using donation receipts to anchor sponsorship packages for her son's DJ company, so my deck wasn't the first deck to flirt with ethics. When that came out, Diane's apology landed like a rupture. People followed. A ripple of no more in that beige ocean. Not my world, but I'll take a cleaner shoreline. Ava and Evan are good. Therapy helps. We see them weekly. We say no a lot now. No to image nonsense. No to tiered anything. Yes to tacos. Ava got a job at the public library in the programming department. She says the best part of her day is helping someone print a resume. Also, because the universe has a sense of humor, I got promoted. New title, operations manager for our district. More money, same early mornings, same crew, a little more paperwork, and a bigger say when a city council member wants to cut a route for optics. The crew threw me a party with a banner that said, Boss Man, in letters that alternated silver and gold. Not because we are tacky, but because that's what the dollar store had. Diane came. She brought brownies. She sat with the wives and laughed at the world's dirtiest joke. She dabbed her eyes when we announced the scholarship recipients. No cameras. Ava leaned on my shoulder and said, I keep thinking about the greenhouse. What it would have been if we'd done it your way. I said, we did it our way. She said, I love you. There are no tears in my family. There's lunch. And lemon bars. A few of you messaged to ask if I regret the nuclear move. Short answer, no. Longer answer, I learned that when someone uses your love to extract status, the kindest thing you can do is turn off the faucet. It's not punishment. It's plumbing. Loose ends. The greenhouse now includes a no sponsor integration, no corporate branding clause printed in bold on page 1 of their contracts. The owner sent me a thank you email and a gift card to the nursery down the street. I bought a lemon tree for Maya. We named it Optics. The union scholarship fund grew enough to add a mental health stipend for the kids, because it turns out grief is heavy and therapy is expensive. Diane's anonymous contribution helped. She didn't attend the meeting where we voted. She told me, I don't want to be in the room when people are counting. I'll be in the room when they're reading. Evan stood up to his dad when Greg suggested a country club membership they couldn't afford because clients expect it. Evan said, my clients expect results. Greg laughed and said, okay, son. That sound you hear is a generational chain snapping. Ava sent the tiered seating mood board to her therapist. They burned it in a little fire pit behind the office. Therapist's idea, apparently. Ava kept the printed Tier 3, necessary but non-optimal relationships, page and taped it inside the cabinet where she keeps the recycling bags, as a reminder that trash belongs in the bin. One last thing. I posted this because people keep telling each other to eat dirt so they can sit closer to people who won't feed them anyway. Don't. Feed the ones who show up with tacos. Turn your money into chairs for them. If someone insists on tears, don't fight for the front row. Flip the room. Final TLDR. Paying for a wedding is not an audition for someone else's brand. If your love is asked to stay in the parking lot during the ceremony, your money should, too. We canceled the venue, threw a community party, recentered the couple, and built something better than a mood board. The revenge was simply insisting on a world with no tears, just lunch. And it worked.